What's going on, everybody? It is chapter number 3, and we still are with Mike Zuber from 100 at a Time. Mike, how's it going, my friend?
Man, this is an important topic. People need to realize that some people produce content to get paid and others produce content to help.
Mike, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm talking about a real estate crash in 2021.
Yeah, I can't believe that people have the audacity to claim a real estate crash is going to happen in the next, 50 days.
55 days left till the end of the year, and there are still people on this, it's going to crash.
Yeah.
Really? Do you not understand how the housing market works? Clearly not.
Yeah, there's just, yeah. So first off, let's put a definition of a crash.
Yeah.
I consider a crash to be 20%.
Or more. Yep.
20% or more.
Yeah. Yep.
Plus.
Agreed.
If you're calling a crash 3%, 2%,
nope.
I mean, that's a whatever. But so maybe our definition of crash is wrong, but I'm at 20% or greater.
It's not.
I have personally invested before and after a crash. My market of California had a 75% fall.
Yep.
So I've been there. I know what it feels like. But let me tell you this, 75% crash did not happen in 55 days.
No.
It didn't happen in 550 days.
Yeah.
It didn't happen in 1,000 days.
Right.
It happened over 5.5 years.
Yes.
Real estate is not stocks. It is not crypto, especially residential, when you have lots of people that own or ock and moving and life events and millennials growing up and aging into buying. It doesn't move that fast. And then lastly, I have done probably 200, maybe 300 transactions. I can tell you that most first-time home buyers, if they signed the deal today, couldn't close this year with Thanksgiving and the holidays.
Agreed.
So where's the crash? I mean, again, maybe the definition of crash is different, but how can you have China is a real estate market that I think is in trouble.
Yes, I agree.
Statistically speaking, they will not have a 20% crash this year. They could next year and the year after, but it's not going to happen this year. The real estate market in China is screwed. Yes. They're not selling any new ones. Nobody's buying. They've lost confidence, and you will not statistically have a crash this year. It is moving way too slowly.
Yep, I totally agree with that. And I think the other things that we can look at too, Mike, which is even if you're good at what you do, even if you can close pretty quickly, even if you have relationships with the bank, it's still 45 days.
Oh, yeah. I mean, unless you can write a check, which we can,
right?
You're not, there is a very good chance if you open escrow today, you don't close. It becomes November 15th. Very, very few of you are closing.
Agreed. 100% agree with you. Now, the one wrinkle that I will put in this that I think is a little bit interesting is that with all the traveling restrictions coming off of the US and coming off of other countries traveling to the US, I believe that there is some pent up demand there.
Oh, that's awesome. Because there's actually an article I just found this morning. So again, right, the country will be opening up next year.
Yep.
There's a lot of stuff going on around the world, none less than China, where wealth is being punished.
Yes.
Punished.
Yes.
And historically speaking, the rich don't like that.
Nope.
They don't like to be singled out. And they will do everything possible, including filling up a suitcase full of money and carrying it on an airplane and going somewhere else. Yep. Jonathan Twomley and I talked about this yesterday because he's very familiar with Japan.
Yeah.
And stuff like that happened when the Japanese economy rolled over, as they brought suitcases full of money. And yes, folks, it is illegal, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
That's right. That's right.
So again, I actually think there's a lot of foreign money that is thirsty for US assets.
Yep.
Especially Class A stuff. It is going to be amazing to see what happens when foreign money shows up. Because again, we're all nervous about an economy and a crash. And then you get these folks from China and Australia and South America and Europe. They're like, damn, I can buy some cheap US assets. I am in.
That's right.
So we're all, while everybody else is watching, crash videos, they're going to be soaking up. And again, that's why we talked about the units being under 2 million next year. I think a lot of foreign purchases happen next year.
I totally agree with you. I think there's going to be a lot of foreign purchases. I think that there's going to be a lot of people even borrowing money from those foreign banks, especially
Yes.
like a Germany, right?
Yep.
Negative rates or close to negative rates.
Yeah,
and
they're
you bring
negative.
that
Yeah.
money here. And if you've got any business acumen whatsoever, like find a property manager and you're borrowing at negative rates.
Yeah, I mean, if you can earn 6 and borrow at -1, that's
Yep.
that's a pretty good ratio.
Yeah, Barry Sternlicht, who's I'm just a huge fan of. I think he's very practical. He's very smart. You know, when everything was blowing up with COVID, he actually contracted and contacted German banks where they do some business and said, "What would you give us $100 million line of credit for?" And they said 1%.
Done. Sign me up.
Sign me up tomorrow.
Well, that's
I mean,
much smaller scale. I again, if you read my story, I actually had a set of assets owned free and clear on purpose for years.
yeah,
I have now gone back to that pile, and most of them I've taken out 50% LTVs
yep, exactly.
because I can get rates, 30-year money, 4%, and I think inflation's 8 or 9. And if the good news is I think I can make good money on it. But if I can't in 2 years, I'll just pay the loans off. It's okay.
Yep. Yeah, I've got 3 that I own free and clear, and I've got 2 that I owe almost nothing on.
Yeah.
And so those are the next 5
Yeah.
that we then do some sort of a significant pull and then create just a bunch more money to go do the next thing with.
Yeah. And again, you're gonna borrow at 4 and you're gonna earn 12 or more. But if you can't, like the market turns or inventory dry, whatever, you'll just pay it off. It's okay.
My
Right.
worst deal in my last 6 that we got all those cards for. My worst deal in my last 6 yields 21%.
I would
That's
do
my-
that deal every day.
That's my worst deal.
And again, you're borrowing it for earning 21. That's called a positive carry,
Yeah,
folks.
3.75 if I do from the commercial side, and I'm 4.25 if I'm on the portfolio resi side.
Deal done.
I mean, yeah, 21, 23. I mean, and the highest one is 43% return on capital.
That's just they're terrible deal. Terrible.
Yeah.
Deal.
I mean, man, I'm just looking at that and I was like,
You should have left that there.
Yeah. I just call him. I'm like, so can we do another one just like that?
Yeah.
If
How
I
many
do-
more of those you have?
If I do 2 more of those, 45, 6, 14 becomes my reality very fast.
That's awesome.
So yeah, so
Yeah.
it's good. So Mike, any other thoughts on this one?
No. I guess I'll just say fear sells.
Yeah.
You don't have to be smart. You don't have to actually be doing the business to create content. Some people are comfortable getting paid versus actually helping.
Mhm.
Neither that, we're real estate investors first.
Right.
I just love that about us.
Yeah, I think, like I always say, take advice and listen to people that are in the market doing what you're trying to do.
Mhm.
That's the advice that you take it from. We're not so blind. We'd be the worst businessmen in the world if we were completely ignoring facts and figures that are in the market. We look at them every day to understand what we're anticipating and what we're then going to need to be able to do to pivot. Recognizing that things are going to happen in this next year's market that are going to help us or make us pivot, but we're ready for that pivot. And
Yeah.
the key is being always ready to take advantage of opportunity that's created by market inefficiencies. That's what we will be doing. We would be talking our book if we didn't want things to crash. We would be happy if things crash because we would be buyers across the board. My fear is that too many people are listening to this negative Nancy stuff. They're not making the investment. They're not doing the work. They're not putting the time in, and they are going to miss another 10 or 15% appreciation. But more importantly, forget about the appreciation because that's not really what we're most concerned about. We're concerned with time in the market in a good or great deal that is giving you a yield of 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, 20%, whatever your market deems as average, doing a good or a great deal.
Well said.
It's almost like I've read it somewhere before.
Yeah, it's almost
Right?
like you've seen that
Right.
before.
So Mike, tell everybody where they can find you, my friend.
One rental at a time. YouTube, book, website, Instagram, all there.
Books.
You're
There's
right.
multiple books. They're both excellent. So as I always like to say, we take a ton of time creating great content for you guys. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. This debuts today on Lumberjack Landlord. It will be tomorrow on One Rental at a Time. So we look forward to you guys attending both web sessions, which Mike has his tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Pacific, and mine's 11:30 Eastern time on Sunday. We look forward to you guys being there in the chat and look forward to some great dialogue and answering your guys' questions. Mike, thanks so much. Have a great weekend, and we will talk again soon, my friend.
You got it. See ya.
Take care.
Mhm.